Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. And yeah, I'm gonna be making a video on the new episode, the first episode of Loki. And I gotta say, this has got to be my favorite first episode so far of the shows that have come out, the Marvel shows that have come out. I will say, I think I don't know how to say right now about I have to wait until the rest of the season come out. But so far, my favorite has been Falcon and Winter Soldier. But hopefully, Loki will beat it. It's always enjoyable to watch a new show and love it. But so far, this is my favorite first episode of the three shows. So if you saw the title of the video, you were probably wondering about the Infinity Stones. Now, I see a lot, and by a lot, I mean actually not a lot of people. Very few people, weirdly enough, have complained about this, but there are people that have complained about it. So, this is mostly talking about the scene where Loki enters the sort of, I guess you could say, like the clerk, like management area or whatever, where they kind of keep all the stuff that's taken off of people. And he is there to look for the Tesseract, and then when he, threatens one of the guys there and opens a drawer, he finds a bunch of Infinity Stones. And essentially, the way, and it is explained to him that the Infinity, they have so much of that. Some of the guys use them as a paperweight. People see the scene, and a lot of them believe that it diminishes the power of the Infinity Stones, that it makes, since the Infinity Stones is literally pointless, at the entire, 10 years that they were literally leading up to the Infinity Stones, just all of a sudden made them completely pointless and worthless. And I can definitely see why some people would think that. However, to really understand why that is the case, why something like that happened, we would have to look back at the powers and capabilities of the Infinity Stones. So when a universe is created, it came with the Infinity Stones, right? These Infinity Stones essentially have are made up of all the parts that make up the entirety of the universe. You've got the Space Stone, which controls space, the Mind Stone, Reality Stone, the Power Stone, the Time Stone, and the Soul Stone. And I saw not a lot actually, surprisingly not a lot, but I did see a few comments and a lot of different reactions and videos and stuff like that, of people sort of being like, oh, then everything was kind of pointless, or like Black Widow died for nothing, or like basically like the whole idea of it was like, because they diminished the power of these Infinity Stones, that everything that was involved with the Infinity Stones up to that point was sort of pointless. However, what people don't understand with the Infinity Stones is that they are actually a lot more limiting when you think about them in the multiversal sense. So essentially, if you have all the Infinity Stones, you can essentially control the entire universe. But when there are multiverses, meaning multiple universes, these stones' powers are significantly reduced, because you actually cannot use Infinity Stones outside of the universe they were made. In fact, that's how it is essentially in the comics. There's multiple times where different universes of Avengers have met each other and have tried to use Infinity Stones on each other, and there's tons and tons of it showing basically that they're inert. Like when you take an Infinity Stone from one universe and bring it to another universe, that Infinity Stone does not work on that universe. Now, you can have multiple Infinity Stones in one universe, and that's because you can actually use a Time Stone to go back in time and gather like a past set of Infinity. It's weird that that's something that's happened before. I think Thanos did something close to that. But yeah. So what this means is the TVA seem to work outside of the universe. They are outside of time. They are outside of reality. They are outside of all of that. They view things from the outside looking in, because they are the people that keep they're the people that keep the timeline in a singular state. Which means the Infinity Stones that those guys did have do not have any power on the TVA, because they are outside of the literal universe that they are made in. Not only that, but they are in also what seems to be in a world where magic does not exist, since we see Loki attempt to use his powers and it just doesn't work. And when Loki goes outside and stares into the city and sees how massive and nearly infinite it is, because it most likely is infinite. I think there is a comic counterpart to that place, but I don't remember specifically. But and sees how infinitely massive the city is, and he says, I thought you said there wasn't any magic." And he's like, "There isn't." The technology that is being wielded by these people are so advanced, so beyond the multiverse, like beyond like a tier 8 civilization, beyond all of that, that it is essentially greater, if not on par with any sort of godly like magic. Which means the thing that was used to create the infinite space that they're in might be infinitely more powerful than Infinity Stones, and that's a really weird thing to say, but it is possible for infinities to be bigger than other infinities, weirdly enough. So, in this sort of case, the Infinity Stones essentially have no power here. Another way you could possibly view this is that these are Infinity Stones that were created they were used by often by deviants or variants. I'm sorry. And as mentioned before, Infinity Stones don't necessarily work in other in other sort of in other universes. And this might also apply with alternate timelines. What I mean is that if they have the stones and they take them off the variant, and then they do that thing where they essentially erase that entire timeline, and thus essentially rendering the stones completely inert and completely pointless. That's why none of the stones would have been able to use, even if they did work there. And also that's why the Tesseract that Loki had didn't work, because the timeline that he was in was essentially erased. So there you go. Essentially, those are just some ways to sort of understand how the Infinity Stones work. Yeah, Infinity Stones and the idea of infinity and all that kind of stuff, especially Marvel Comics, is kind of fucky sometimes. But basically, in short, the Infinity Stones being sort of treated as like nonsense objects in this episode does not at all diminish the power and ability that they had, and especially the importance they had in previous movies. Anyways, yeah, so that's all I really wanted to say. Hope you guys liked the video and my explanation. If you do, feel free to like.